On the 7th of July 1960, Australia was rocked by the kidnapping of 8-year-old Graeme Thorne, who vanished on his way to school. This case, Australia's first kidnapping for ransom, unfolded into a tragedy that would forever scar a family's life and change the community's sense of safety forever. Just over a month earlier, on the 1st of June 1960, Graeme's father Basil Thorne had become a local celebrity after winning the Sydney Opera House lottery. The family were awarded £100,000, equivalent to about $3 million today, that promised to change their lives forever. Unfortunately, it was changed in a way that they could never imagine. As the Thorne family was celebrating their win, 34-year-old Stephen Bradley read about their good fortune in the local paper with jealousy and resentment, as he was drowning in debt. Bradley had lost his job as an insurance salesman and was desperate to keep his luxury lifestyle for his family. At the time, newspapers published the name and address of lottery winners, so Bradley developed a ransom plan and set out to monitor the Thorne family's routine in Edward Street, Bondi. Once he had recognised the pattern in their daily activities, Bradley needed to obtain their phone number. He decided that the best way to do this was to literally walk up to their door and ask. He posed as a private investigator, and Frida Thorne willingly gave Bradley the number, even though their phone hadn't even been installed yet. On the morning of Thursday the 7th of June 1960, Graeme walked out his front door as usual, but it was for the very last time. Bradley was watching Graeme as he made his usual stop at the corner store for a bag of chips before his mum's friend picked him up to take him to school. As Graeme exited the store, Bradley was waiting for him. He persuaded Graeme to get into the car by saying that the woman who normally took him to school was sick and that he could take him to school instead. Once Graeme was in the car, Bradley drove him to Centennial Park. There he overpowered the child, binding his hands and feet with twine, gagging him, and wrapping him in a blue tartan picnic blanket before putting little Graeme in the boot of his car. This blanket would later prove to be a crucial piece of evidence. In the days following Graeme's disappearance, police leave was suspended statewide as Australia launched the largest manhunt in its history. A reward of £5,000 was declared, with an additional £15,000 offered by 2 newspapers. The distressing ordeal of the Thorne family unfolded across newspapers, television and radio, capturing the nation's attention as they endured a barrage of prank calls, some from individuals pretending to be Graeme, others posing as the kidnapper. The case took a further tragic turn when Graeme's school case was discovered near Wakehurst Parkway. On Tuesday, the 16th of August, nearly 6 weeks after the abduction, and about 1.5 kilometres from where the case was found, 3 schoolboys uncovered Graeme's body, still wearing his school uniform, hidden on a vacant lot in Grandview Grove, Seaforth. Forensic tests on soil samples from both Graeme's body and the blue tartan blanket revealed tiny fragments of pink limestock mortar, indicating that his body had likely been hidden beneath a house. The clues discovered through groundbreaking forensics and good old-fashioned police work allowed investigators to narrow their search to a property with a blue car, traces of pink mortar, and 2 distinctive cypress trees in the yard. A tip from a local postman eventually led police to the suspect's home in Clontarf, though by that time, Bradley had already fled the country with his family. Bradley's identity was ultimately confirmed when forensic analysis found a hair from his dog on the picnic blanket used to wrap Graeme in before putting him in the boot of his car. When Frida Thorne later saw Bradley's photograph, she immediately recognised him as the man who had once visited their home, posing as a private detective. Though Bradley had escaped Sydney aboard the P&O liner Himalaya with his wife and children, he was apprehended when he disembarked in Colombo in October 1960. He was extradited back to Sydney, charged with Graeme Thorne's murder, and sentenced to life imprisonment at Goulburn. Fortunately, Bradley's life came to an end at the age of 42 when he died of a heart attack while playing tennis in prison. Young Graeme Thorne was laid to rest in Macquarie Park, and his family later moved to Rose Bay, a relocation that did little to heal the deep wounds left by the tragedy. At the time, the case was arguably the most notorious crime in Australia, demonstrating the remarkable capabilities of forensic science. There was more cutting-edge scientific evidence used in the trial than any in New South Wales at that point. Before this case, kidnapping wasn't even classified as a crime. The chilling aftermath of this case not only shattered the sense of security amongst Sydney-siders, but also led to changes as significant as the decision to no longer publish every lottery ticket winner in the newspaper, to hopefully avoid a tragedy like this ever happening again.